On this episode of Bite Sized, we are watching and discussing the 66th scene of the movie Twilight. For those of you watching along at home, that's from 147:30 to 148:49. And now, on to the episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode of Bite Sized. If this is your first time listening, here's what's going on. My name is Ben. I am your host. I'm watching the movie Twilight one scene at a time with a different guest every week. I find someone to be on the show, I send them around 90 seconds of the movie Twilight, and then we talk about it for about a half hour with little to no other context. Speaking of guests, joining me today, hold on, let me look up what we said earlier. I've got a musical improviser, a Dungeons & Dragons lover, and all-around dork, Sean Buckley. Welcome to Bite Size.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Sean, I'm going to start this interview the way I start every interview on the show. That is by asking you, what is your history with the Twilight franchise?
So somehow, even though I was like the perfect age group for Twilight, I didn't know it existed for a long time, like until like the last book came out.
Okay.
I did not know it existed. And then suddenly everyone I knew was talking about it. And I was like, what is, I thought we all liked, I think it was like Harry Potter. What's happening?
Right.
And then the movie was coming out. And so I saw the first movie, never having read the book.
Okay.
I tried to read the book, and I think I was just a little too old for it. And I was like, this is so bad and dumb.
Really?
I can't do it.
Okay, Sean, you know you're on a Twilight podcast
I'm thrilled to be here. I'm thrilled to be here. But I think I just weirdly missed the boat on it. But I have watched the first movie a few times now, but I've only ever seen the first and the second movie.
Interesting.
So I don't know where it goes.
Did the movies have any impact on you? How old were you the first time you saw that first movie?
When did the movie come out?
2008.
I was
when Twilight
Then
came
I was
out.
16.
Okay, you saw it in theaters.
I saw it in theaters.
You were perfectly demographically aligned.
Exactly.
To love this movie.
I don't know
and
what
it just didn't. It just didn't hit.
It didn't hit.
Okay.
I think part of it was, and I think I had a similar experience to take it to another book to movie franchise. I think The Hunger Games suffered from a similar issue where the book is so much, the main characters in these books are so internal. They're so thought process and like reacting inside that to try to externalize that in the form of the movie, I think you lose a lot of the character.
Yeah.
Because then her only job was kind of just to look confused.
Right. Bella, as written in the book, is a very shy and quiet type.
Yes, but on the inside, very complex and very, like, she's going through a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I've read part of the book, and so I know that there's a lot going on.
Relatable for any high schooler.
Exactly.
But then you have to make a movie.
Out.
Right.
Yeah.
And poor Kristen Stewart has to be like, all right, be quiet and
show little emotion.
Right. And hidden and be a little turtle in your shell,
yes.
but also be engaging and fun to look at on screen.
Flirty and in love.
And
but also
I'm pretty sure you're like 17 years old while we're filming this. Anyway, go child.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think a similar thing happened with The Hunger Games, which I don't know if you've read or seen, but...
Seen, yes. I think I read the first book.
I loved all of the Hunger Games books. And again, everything is happening inside her head and she's problem solving. But to put that in a movie, everything had to be externalized. So poor Jennifer Lawrence's job was just to look upset all the time.
Right. And at least she had the action to fall back on.
Yes.
Because Katniss is constantly
rolling and shooting.
Right. She has things to do in ways that Bella does not. Because even when there are big action scenes in Twilight, Bella is less, she's not part of the action.
Yep.
She is in danger, basically.
I was going to say a victim.
Yeah, essentially, yes.
Yeah.
She is the target of the intended violence.
Exactly.
By the weirdos in the alley or the bad vampire or whatever it is.
Or the werewolves or whatever
and then
it is.
someone else gets to do the thing.
Exactly.
It's sort of like the character equivalent of, like, I don't know, sometimes actors in a scene, like Brad Pitt likes to eat on camera because it not only does it make, he thinks it makes him look more human, but also it gives him something to do. Yes. When you first start acting or anything like that, you realize that just sort of standing there very still and not doing anything with your arms, you get incredibly self-conscious. And Bella is sort of the equivalent of the sort of emotional and character equivalent, at least for Kristen Stewart,
Yes.
translating this to film is the equivalent of not having anything to do with your hands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The chemistry just wasn't there. There was nothing like to me to latch on to. I feel like there was more between her and Taylor Lautner's character, Jacob.
Your team Jacob, what you're saying?
I'm Team Jacob.
We'll talk about him later.
We will. We'll get there. But I just thought I was like, this is a book. This is made for book.
Yeah.
I think Bella specifically was done a disservice
Right.
in the movie.
Well, let's get into the scene
Yay.
we had today. It's a short one,
I love
about a minute 20. Bella and Edward arrive at the prom. Edward drops her off at a bench, and then Jacob is there, and
In the
they
woods.
talk, and then Edward comes back, and it's weird, and that's the end of the scene. That's the general overview.
Yep.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty details here.
Please.
Like I said, Bella is just sort of deposited on this bench.
Why?
Well, in the movie, she has a broken leg.
Oh.
So
She has
Edward drops her, you know,
Yes.
and this whatever event space the high school has rented for prom doesn't have a valet.
Yeah, he has to park. Okay,
yeah,
I forgot about this.
He can't go park far away and make her walk to the door. He has to
Yes.
put her on this bench and then go park. And it's kind of weird, but it's the best option.
But with the context, it makes a little more sense. I
Right.
had completely forgotten about the broken leg.
right.
So.
And I guess, I don't know, there's no friends or anything.
She doesn't have friends.
She has some friends who we will see later at this prom.
But like, does she?
Yeah, she does.
I know them. I do
Yeah,
know. One
she
of them
has
is
Anna
Susie
Kendrick.
and Susie Crabgrass.
And Susie Crabgrass,
Yes.
who I'm constantly shocked with, those
in
are
the
the same
movie.
person.
I
I
know.
forget it and relearn it on a regular basis.
Same.
And Edward has siblings who are just not there.
That's true. Yeah.
I guess they don't have to go to prom.
Yeah.
They don't want to.
I think there was also like her whole thing is like once Edward enters her life, I feel
Uh-huh.
like she just isolates herself so much that I'm not surprised that she was like, well, rather than walk anywhere and talk to anyone, I'd rather be on this bench.
Yeah, she sort of finds or builds her entire identity around her relationship to Edward and
Yeah.
immediately is just like, this man and his family are the only people I'm going to talk
No
to
one else.
ever again. Maybe my dad.
Maybe my dad.
And my mom and maybe Phil, her boyfriend or
Maybe
whatever.
Phil.
Phil is my favorite character.
I do like Phil.
He's a mystery to me. It was recently announced, maybe a year or so ago, that Netflix, I think, is in the early stages of an animated Twilight series.
What?
And my dream now is maybe, I guess, using this sort of podcast to elevate myself
Yes.
and one day getting an agent. But I really, really, really want to play Phil in the Twilight animated series.
I want
it's
that
a
for you
small
so
role.
bad.
He'll have maybe one line. It's not a big ask. Netflix, if you're listening, hit me up. I don't have an agent yet.
He's
but
loyal
you can email
and
my wife.
he's talented. Talk to him, guys.
Yeah, I am in my early 30s. I can sound like a man who used to play baseball. Phil is unknowable, and it's my favorite thing about him.
I love that.
There are so many characters who have the potential to be this interesting, and this is not just Twilight.
Oh, yeah.
This is everything else. But there are a lot of characters who have potential to be this interesting, and then the creator is like, this is an interesting character. I should explore this more and explain some things and figure out who this character is. And that makes the character less interesting. Phil, there is so much unknown about him that it requires
Yes.
you to fill in the gaps.
You know who another one that reminds me of? Have you watched
Yeah.
The Office?
Yeah.
Creed.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Like, don't give
Yes.
us anything real about this man.
Right.
Just-
Early Creed.
Early
like the
Creed.
first few seasons, he is a mystery.
Yep.
And then after a while, they're like, this Creed's a big hit. We should
Yep.
spend more time with him.
No.
And the shine comes off the
Yep.
apple.
The secret to Creed was hints. There's,
Yes,
I think
mystery.
One of my favorite lines in The Office, and then I promise we'll get back to Twilight, is there's an episode where Pam is going to get like a hand-me-down chair from Michael, and he's really invested, and he's like, well,
yeah.
once Michael gets his chair, then Pam get his chair, and I get Pam's chair. Then I'll have 2 chairs, only one to go.
Yeah.
And there's no answer to
Yeah.
that. And I was like, this is comedy.
Right.
This is the best.
It's like a picture of Bigfoot.
Yes.
The more in focus it is, the more fake you can tell it is.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes.
we
Back to the scene.
spent approximately 20 minutes talking about things only kind of related to
I love
Twilight.
it. I love it.
Jacob just sort of appears out of the forest,
Jump scare.
as normal high schoolers do.
Absolutely.
And everyone, and by I guess everyone I mean Bella, just sort of treats this as normal.
Yes.
I feel like I would have questions.
My first question was, because obviously she's like, oh, are you going to the prom? Because he's dressed nice.
Kind of.
But like, why did he wear a tie to blend in if he was just going to hang out in the forest?
And he's not like prom dressed up.
No.
He's wearing a button-down shirt that is not tucked in. The sleeves are rolled up.
Yeah.
He's not dressed entirely too differently from how I am now.
Exactly.
He's wearing a tie, but it's super loose, and there's like some buttons undone.
Yeah.
Bella.
Jacob.
Hey. Nice.
You too. Are you crashing the prom or something? Did you come with a date?
No. My dad paid me to come talk to you. $20.
And so did he like have on a full prom suit to fool his dad?
That's the
and
thing.
And then ditched most of it in the forest?
Woods? Because again, he's just hanging out in the woods.
Yeah, he could be wearing anything.
Anything.
He could
I was
be
so
more
confused.
comfortable.
Yeah.
His choice of attire makes no sense.
My only thought was like he was going for that like, I don't do a suit thing, but like I'll put on a tie.
Right.
Like, but then again, you're in the woods.
And you're not going to prom.
No.
Yeah. And
So
like
weird.
We know that you and I know he's a werewolf.
Yes, we
No
do.
one in the movie knows this yet.
Correct.
I guess Edward does. Bella doesn't. But
Yeah.
for movie purposes, we don't know
No
this
one knows.
yet. And he appears out of the woods, not out of the parking lot.
No.
So you have to assume that either A, he drove, parked his car,
Went to the woods.
and then went into the woods to wait.
Yes.
Or B, walked from his house to wherever this place is. I think it's safe to assume, given things that have been established in this movie, that the place they are probably not in Forks.
Very remote, yes.
It is best case scenario in Port Angeles, the big in quotation marks city of like 15 to 20,000.
Yeah.
That is a good 30 minutes to an hour drive away from Forks. I've made the drive. And so you're sort of led to assume that like, or at least I feel like if I saw Edward walking out of the forest, my first two thoughts as Bella would be, were you waiting in the forest?
Yes.
Or, hey man, did you walk all the way to prom?
Yeah, she doesn't have nearly enough questions.
Right.
Like, he appears from behind a tree, and then when he leaves, this is again a spoiler, he disappears back into the
trees.
forest.
Yeah.
And she's not like, what?
Yeah. Hey man, why
Where
are you doing
going?
that?
Do you need a ride?
Right.
Like, what's happening?
Are you going to be okay out there? Like, what's going on?
There's again, she asks the wrong questions.
Right.
Like when she's like, oh, you going to the prom? It's not like, were you waiting for me behind that tree?
Right. Hey, and also, where are you going?
Where are you going?
Right.
Oh,
The way he starts this conversation, Bella says hi. Like, hey, Jacob. Jacob's sort of opening to the conversation is just sort of point at her and say, nice.
Nice.
Which is not great, Jacob. Hey, buddy.
He was just so dumbstruck by her beauty and her dress with her Converse.
You know, hey, we've all been there.
Oh,
we've
yeah.
all been a high school boy.
Didn't know what to say.
Yeah, and you don't want to say too much, but you want to say something. It's just this weird.
It came off as skeezy, though.
Right.
Nice.
Nice. It's not great. But yeah, he just sort of does that. He's not here for prom. He's here because his dad paid him to come talk to Bella. Still weird.
Still weird.
Bella does not question this.
No. She's like, well, then okay, tell me.
And like my first thought when I hear this is like, okay, Bella or Jacob's dad is like trying to encourage him to be more social or whatever.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good read.
That was my first thought.
Okay.
Of like, oh, my dad paid me to talk to you because we're gonna see, and maybe maybe this is too much from the next movie, but like Bella spends too much time in the house in New Moon, and Charlie just like, what can I do to get you out?
You gotta
of
get
here?
out of the house.
And so my first thought was like, oh, okay, he paid Jacob to go talk to Bella so that he could just be a kid and have a conversation, maybe talk to this girl that he's clearly crushing on. But no, he's a messenger.
Let's hear it.
Just don't get mad, okay? He wants you to break up with your boyfriend. It's just, he said, quote, we'll be watching you.
Remind me, what does Jacob's dad do?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know that we ever learned his job.
Okay, because it just feels weird. It felt so weird to me. I know Jacob and Bella were friends when they were younger.
Yes.
So, like, his dad knows Bella.
Yeah.
But I was like, what reason would this dad have to, obviously it's because we know later that like he knows he's a vampire, but it's like out of context, it's like, hey, you know my dad who you haven't probably spoken to since you were 8, he wants you to dump your boyfriend.
Yeah, that's the message. You should break up with your boyfriend. And then he follows that up not with a reason or a warning or anything.
Nothing.
His Jacob says, my dad thinks you should break up with your boyfriend. He said, quote, we'll be watching you, which is not a reason to break up with your boyfriend.
Nope, it's
not
just
an
creepy.
Explanation for coming with that message.
Nope.
It's just weird.
It's just unsettling, especially when the message came from a man waiting for you from behind
just
a tree.
walked out of the forest.
That's crazy.
That's weird. Why did you pay your son $20 to say you should break up with your boyfriend? We'll be watching you. Instead of, I don't know, talking to her yourself, talking to her dad, man to man. Arguably the best way to do that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Being like, hey, Charlie, we know that your daughter's new in town. We're a little worried. There's no reason you would know XYZ. But no, he would.
Right.
But
he wouldn't know the reason. Because the reason why we'll learn later on is that Jacob comes from a family of vampires. The Cullens, of course, are werewolves, and they're natural.
Reverse, but yes.
Right. Whatever. Yep. You know what I
I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant.
And so naturally, they hate each other. The blacks think the Cullens are going to, kill Bella, essentially. And it's for her own good that she should break up. And none of that comes out.
No.
In the
and
message.
it's also they're not wrong. That's the thing. Is like at the core of it, them being like, hey, you're dating a vampire might not be the best idea for your safety is not wrong.
No, but you're going to do that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't blow your own cover that you're a werewolf. You can't blow their cover that they're vampires.
Yes.
You got a whole treaty thing.
Yeah.
You don't want to blow up the spot. I get it.
I get it.
But you have to come up with a secondary reason other than you should break up with your boyfriend. Yeah. Don't worry about why.
Because there is no reason. Just do it.
No reason given other than we think you should.
We think you should. Also, since we were talking about voice acting too, his vocal fry in that entire speech when he's like, my dad paid me to talk to you. I was like, I want to shake him and be like, just find your voice, buddy. Like, I was like, were you trying to be sexy? Were you just trying to be quiet? But it was coming off as just like, he says, quote, we'll be watching you. And I was like, ew, stop it. It was unsettling.
Yeah, as a man on the internet, I'm going to play it safe and not say anything about vocal fry.
That is fair.
But I will say that wig was not wigging.
Heinous.
It was
heinous.
It was, boy, no attempt at all to give him a natural hairline. And not like, I don't know, I can't see your hairline because you have bangs, but he's got like a center part, and it's just draped on top of his head.
And it's like, I can see your hairline, and it looks normal.
You can barely see it because it's about to retreat under the headphones.
But there's like
you can
natural
you can see the roots.
Stops.
Yeah. It doesn't look like the wig was dropped off of a balcony and landed on my head, and then I ran into the forest.
Listen, he was in the woods. He didn't have a mirror.
Right.
It took him a minute to get the wig on.
It kind of looks like the wig is backwards.
It does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That looks like the back of the wig.
Right. And they didn't have time to turn it around, so they just parted it.
Just go.
Just move it. Just drape it behind your shoulders. It'll be fine.
And it was
no one will
not
notice.
Brushed on this side, but it was brushed on this side.
Well,
it was
trees.
That's
a
fair.
branch grabbed him.
But it didn't. It looked like a Halloween store wig. It was so bad.
It's not great. Right around this point, after the threat? Question mark. I mean, what I'm sure they intend as a comfort, but can only be interpreted as a threat.
Absolute threat.
Those are threatening words.
He said, "I'm a grown man. I'm going to be watching you." That's a threat.
Yeah. When you were in high school, when you were a 16, 17-year-old girl.
Indeed.
If a friend told you, my dad said he will be watching you,
I would call the cops.
Really only one way you could take that.
I'd go to my mother and I'd be like, Mom, Mr. So-and-so said he'd be watching me. And she said, let's call the cops.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, well, tell him thanks.
Okay.
And to pay up.
Okay. Oh, let me help you. Take it from here.
Edward comes back and they sort of have a little stare down.
Guess I'll see you around, Bella.
Jacob just sort of disappears back into the forest.
Yep.
I leave you alone for 2 minutes, and the wolves descend.
Little foreshadowing.
So subtle.
Yeah, a little one for the real fans who have read book 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's basically it for what we're supposed to be looking at.
But we would be remiss if we did not comment on the cardigan that is put around
Yes.
Bella's shoulders.
Yes.
That is seemingly it looks like a winter cardigan. It's like white and sparkly, and
Yeah.
I don't like it.
You know, we'll talk about this in an episode that has been recorded, but will be released after this one.
Yeah.
It falls under the same prom in, anywhere north of a certain point.
Yeah.
Is going to be much like Halloween north of a certain point. You're Spider-Man. Where I grew up in Houston, for Halloween, you're Spider-Man. In
Sure.
Chicago, for Halloween, you're Spider-Man wearing a large winter jacket.
That's a really good point.
And
That's
this is
a really
sort
good
of
point.
the unfortunate necessity that Bella falls into. And later on, we'll see other people at the prom. Like, yes, you're wearing a beautiful prom dress. Also, your shoulders are exposed.
Awful sweater.
And it's 40 degrees.
And
here's a sweater.
And I support that, but they could have given her a shawl.
Well, Bella's not that kind of girl.
Ugh, but instead she's going to wear a grandmother's sweater.
Yeah, and Converse.
And Converse.
'cause She's
She's so quirky.
She's so grungy.
Well, the second I
she
saw
doesn't really
those,
care about fashion.
oh my God. The second I saw those, I was like, that is so this era of high school.
Yeah.
Was the girls that were like, I'll wear a dress, but I don't want to do heels.
Yeah.
Like, it's so real. I was one of those girls that did that. I had so many friends that did that.
Yeah.
That I was like, they nailed that.
Yeah,
Like,
went to a lot of weddings around this time where the bride would be wearing heels during the ceremony,
Mm-hmm.
and then before the reception would change into specifically low top Converse.
Yes.
Basically every time.
such a vibe.
Yeah. There's also, I think we would also be remiss if we did not talk about the other people in this scene.
Yes.
The various students coming in and out of prom. Because, it's prom. There's people arriving.
Yeah.
And I won't I'm not a big continuity hound.
No.
There is a point where we see people behind Bella, and then we cut to a shot of Jacob, and literally a second and a half later, those people are completely gone.
They ran.
They sprinted inside during the reverse shot because they knew it was their one chance. We weren't looking. We have to go.
Yep.
But my favorite sort of happening behind them, there's one shot where Jacob and Bella are sitting on the bench facing each other, and you can sort of see between them. And we see, I don't know if there are other people during this, but we can only see 2 people. I assume there's at least one more person behind Bella we can't see, because that kind of makes this make sense. But we see a student taking a picture of someone in front of the building, and then that person steps forward, and it's very clearly an adult, some sort of chaperone or teacher or whatever, who points to the student and nods, and the student hands the teacher the camera, and then they trade places, and the adult takes a picture of the student, and I don't know why. I don't know. I have to assume there's at least one more person behind
gotta
Bella
be.
who makes this make sense.
Yeah.
But it is still weird that
It's
there
weird.
is this group of people
Yeah.
who want a picture with the teacher
And then the teacher
And
takes a photo.
with the student
With
and
the
that same group of people,
student.
and they're never in the photo at the same time.
Nope.
It's like, hey,
Nope.
other teachers, get a picture with this student, or hey, other students, first a picture with this teacher.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know which one is stranger.
Another option,
Yeah.
it's if it's like a parent, and there was like another sibling
Yeah.
in the photo with the parent, and then the parent was like, okay, I'll get a picture of all of you.
Okay.
Or like that was the date of the person.
And that's a fair thing to
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
But we do see that guy, specifically the older man, the teacher, chaperone age man.
In the dance later?
In other shots in this
okay.
scene.
Yes,
We do see him
yes.
just sort of standing at the end of the sidewalk, like waiting to see in students.
Oh, okay, then yeah, no,
He's like
that's
some
just
sort
weird.
of greeter.
That's weird.
It is definitely
weird.
It's giving. They didn't tell us what to do, but we just got to look like we're doing prom things. So I
figure it
guess
out.
I'll take a picture of you now. I don't know.
You get in there.
I love it. I love people who have not been given
Who make
much
choices.
to do, but still have to. You can't again, like we
Yeah.
said, you can't just stand there and do
Nope.
nothing with your hands.
You gotta do
do
something.
something. We have a camera. I guess we'll take pictures of each other.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
And it's such a normal prom thing to do, but at what point where they were like, well, we got to get one with you?
Right. And that's exactly the body
That's
language he has.
crazy.
Like, hey, buddy, how
Get
about
in there.
hey, how about
Come on.
your turn? Come on, let me take one of you.
All right. Additional lore.
Yeah.
a teacher who's also a dad.
Okay.
It's both. It's one of those things where, and in the background, a very intense acceptance moment was happening where this student was like, Dad, I always had a hard time with you being my teacher.
Okay.
But you know what? Let's get a photo together.
Oh, that's good.
I'm
That's
dropping
heartfelt.
extra lore.
That is so much more emotional than the lore I made up for it. Which was the student is on the staff of the school paper.
Oh.
And just needs, that camera belongs to the school paper.
Yes.
And he just needs some pictures for prom.
Oh,
of
sure.
prom for the yearbook.
I
or
love that
whatever.
too.
Yeah.
See, both are good.
Yeah.
One just has a little additional emotional weight to
It does. One is actually tells a little story.
that I really think they were trying to get across.
Yeah. And one is just being like, what would make the most logical sense?
And then there was a series of students that just ran away.
It just disappeared. Yeah. It took Edward less than 2 seconds to get in and drive away his car.
That is a really good point.
We saw you. We saw this.
Yes.
And again, I don't like to be that guy.
Yeah.
If you look at the IMDb goof sections for any movie, it's just like, the editing wasn't tight enough, and I don't like that.
No.
But I think it's fun to think about, what does that say?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I live for inconsistencies. They don't
Yeah.
make me mad. I think they're so funny to watch. Like changing levels in water glasses, ever moving hair. I think it's like, first of all, it's so human. It's like, it's hard to get things exactly right.
Right.
And I don't know. I think it's so funny.
It's quite a minute 20.
Yeah, it is.
It's short, but there's a lot there. Which
There
has
really
really been
was.
my experience with Twilight. There have been so many scenes.
Yeah, I
I
got
should
no
really
notes.
stop having this thought where I think, oh boy, only a minute. We're gonna be really struggling for things to talk about. And
No,
then we
there's
just
so
don't.
much.
There's actually a lot going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a man paying his son $20 to vaguely threaten his friend.
Truly.
Weird.
What?
Yeah.
And like, why didn't, like, well, I guess again, also Jacob knows he's a vampire. So
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, I got to protect Bella.
Right.
But it's like,
it makes sense to everyone but Bella, the one person not asking questions.
no questions.
Right.
Not a single
Just
question.
Totally cool with all of this that's happening.
Just, okay.
Last question for
Mm-hmm.
you before we wrap this up. If you had to give the scene a name, what would it be? And this is going to be the name of the episode, so please make it good.
I see. I knew this question was coming and I didn't think about it ahead of
so
time.
It better be extra good.
Oh, God. Let me think.
I mean, you can
okay.
talk it out if you want to.
Okay, so I have a couple things.
Right.
It's like, do I focus on Jacob being stuck in the
Sure.
woods? Do I focus on a father and daughter reuniting in the background? Do I focus
A thing we
on-
completely made up.
Yes, okay. Okay.
Okay.
The title is
All right.
A Portrait of a Family
A
Reunion.
portrait of a family reunion. Hold on, I'm going to type that down.
I'm making my lore canon.
A thing we just made up
Yep.
about something that happens for 5 seconds in the
background.
far background of
Yeah.
the scene. The listener will see this episode title and surely know exactly what we're talking
Absolutely.
about.
I can't think of a better title.
I can't either. Sean Buckley, if people want to follow you on social media or maybe see you do some kind of shows live in the Chicago area, where can they maybe do those sorts of things?
Absolutely. So on Instagram, I am sbuckley122.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the only social media I use at this point.
Okay.
And then I am currently performing in Phony
Phony
award-winning musical.
There you go.
At IO, and we're doing Chicago right now. It's very
Oh.
fun. That's actually what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah.
And
That's why you're dressed like this.
This indeed,
Yeah.
yes. I'm dressed very Fosse.
Yeah.
And I am also in a group called Teen Girl Book. We're going to be performing at the San Francisco Improv Festival.
Ooh,
So if any
congratulations.
of our listeners are out in that area, be sure
Sure.
to look that up.
Definitely go for that.
Yeah.
If you want to follow the show on social media, you can do it so at bitesizedpod_ on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You can also follow the show on bitesizedpod, no underscore on Tumblr, where I swear to God, I'm going to start posting things one day. It's July as we're recording this, and my goal for August is to really get on top of some things regarding podcasting. If you want to reach out to the show, you can leave a comment or send a message to any of those social media accounts. I will maybe see it, probably not anytime close to when you sent it, but by God, I'll see it. You can also send an email to myfavoritetwilightpodcast@gmail.com. All that information and more available at twilightpodcast.com. Thank you to everyone who came out to the very first live show. This is the first episode that will be coming out since that has been teased. Sean Buckley, you were there in the audience.
It was a true delight.
It was a wonderful time. It was a fun little experiment. I really hope we were going to do some more, so be on the lookout
Please.
for that in the future, especially if you live somewhere in Texas, because that's where I'm looking for now. next. That's where I'm from. That's where I know people who own comedy theaters.
Yay!
It's sort of the natural next step. But that'll be coming out. That we recorded the first episode of Twilight New Moon, which will be coming out as episode 70, roughly 4 episodes after this one. You can also go to patreon.com/ I think it's patreon.com/ Twilight Podcast, where we don't have anything yet, but we are actively recording things right now. That's me, Sarah Murphy, and Ben Oxshire, editor of this show. We're going to start doing some fun stuff there soon. We've already recorded a couple things that I really enjoy and have some dumb ideas for other things. All that information and more, as previously stated, at twilightpodcast.com. You can buy a sticker while you're there.
Woohoo!
Thank you to my editor, Ben Oxshire, for putting the show together. Thank you to the band Swimwear Department for letting me use their song Mauled to Death as our theme. And that is it. That is all we have for today's episode. As we always say at the end of every episode of Bite Sized,
Bite you later.
bite you later. See you next time. I think we may have used that one before.
Well, I'm happy for it to be a callback. Oh God. Let me think. Ooh. Okay, hold on. I know it's going to be. I'm sorry, Ben, the other Ben in advance. So this is a long pause.
That's fine. He's used to this.
Good. All right.
He may even be leaving it in right now. We will have no way of knowing.
Don't.
We,
I'm an improviser.
we currently exist in a quantum state where he both has and has not cut this out.
The Schrodinger's editor.
I know, but you're the cat. Are you alive, or did you make the final cut?
Oh, God, I hope I made some of the cut.
Yeah.